In the quiet, almost forgotten town of Aldersfield, a place where faded storefronts and whispering winds tell the tales of a past that refuses to be laid to rest, an enigma began to unfurl its dark tendrils once again. Somewhere between the rusted lampposts and the silent, crumbling structures, the story of a missing millionaire, a fractured family bound by sorrow, and a secret so deep that even the local authorities tried to force it into obscurity comes back to life. Today, I take you on a journey through the winding, shadowy corridors of human memory and dread, as we explore the unraveling narrative of the last known witness, the lone keeper of a dangerous truth that has the power to rewrite everything we thought we knew. The town had long been dismissed as nothing more than a relic of yesteryears, a place where time seemed to have paused, leaving behind only echoes of a thriving past. In such a town, every building, every quiet street corner whispered stories of glory and decline. It was here, amid the fractured remnants of a once proud community, that the disappearance of Julian Crestwood occurred. Julian, known as one of the richest men to have ever walked the worn cobblestones of Aldersfield, had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only unanswered questions. His sprawling mansion, a symbol of opulence, stood as a dilapidated relic, harboring secrets too heavy for the town to bear, sealed behind its unyielding doors and faded portraits. At the heart of this mystery was a family undone by grief. The Crestwood family, once the epitome of high society, had been shattered by an event that defied explanation. Before the disappearance, rumors swirled like autumn leaves in a gale. There were whispers of betrayals, hidden affairs, and even financial deceptions. The family, once unified by legacy and ambition, now lay fractured, each member isolated by a grief that cut deeper than any blade. The relationships that had once defined their lives slowly crumbled, leaving behind fractured images and memories that hovered on the edge of clarity and distortion. Central to this labyrinth of lost truths was the solitary figure known only as the last known witness. Neither a hero in a classic tale nor a villain in a dark narrative, this individual carried the weight of years and secrets that had been buried beneath years of silence. Living in the margins of society, far away from prying eyes or the conveniences of modern life, the witness had become a repository for memories that were unreliable and dangerous. Their recollections were like fragments of an old film reel, sometimes clear and defined, at other moments distorted by time and the influence of fear. It was as if every memory was cloaked in mystery, every encounter dipped in a hue of suspicion. This witness, whose identity remained shrouded in layers of mistrust and ambiguity, had learned the hard way that some truths come at a steep price. The detective work that had once seemed promising eventually devolved into a dangerous game of cat and mouse. Each person in Aldersfield had something to hide, and every secret was locked away with a key that threatened to unlock forces not meant to be disturbed. The witness now found themselves alone, hunted by those who wished to keep the abyss of the past sealed forever. Walking alone through misty evenings where the fog thickened like whispered conspiracies, the witness revisited the details of that fateful day. The memories were unreliable, a patchwork quilt of half-remembered conversations, shadowy figures flitting past, and an overwhelming sense of impending doom. Gradually, it became apparent that the disappearance was not just an isolated incident but a nexus of countless interconnected events that had been orchestrated with precision and deliberate cruelty. Elderly friends recalled hints of clandestine meetings in the dead of night, and even the local police, with their eyes lowering in shameful submission, had attempted to sweep the case under the carpet. Their attempts to bury the truth only fanned the flames of curiosity and suspicion, leaving the town's residents shrouded in a kind of collaborative misery, each too scared to speak up, each too terrified to unravel a story that might ruin them. In the midst of this maelstrom of deceit and half-truths, the witness's inner world was in constant turmoil. They spent sleepless nights poring over old photographs, dusty journals, and cryptic letters that hinted at a reality far more complex than anyone had dared to imagine. Every scrap of evidence their mind clung to felt laden with both salvation and damnation. The mansion, with its long abandoned rooms, seemed to echo the lost voices of the Crestwood family. Floors creaked underfoot as if sighing under the weight of years of sorrow and regret. Hidden passages and secret compartments, uncovered by the curious wanderer, portended a presence larger than life itself, a presence that connected the disappearance of the millionaire with the intricate web of corruption and betrayal that had ensnared the town's most influential figures. The local police, morphing into reluctant guardians of an illicit secret, were ensnared in their own contradictions. On one hand, they were tasked with protecting the town and upholding the rule of law. On the other, they were burdened with the troubling memories of family members and old friends whose lives had been irrevocably altered by the events surrounding Julian Crestwood's vanishing. With each passing day, the narrative grew murkier as their official statements conflicted with murmurings from those who knew how deeply intertwined the forces of greed, revenge, and desperation were. Their failure to untangle the mess only served to deepen the enigma, and every time the witness attempted to bring the story to light, they found themselves not only doubted but also directly targeted by an unseen hand. As the sun dipped below the horizon, throwing a cloak of purple and gold across the neglected streets of Aldersfield, the witness could not shake the sense that every shadow held secrets of its own. It was during these twilight hours that the truth, or perhaps a version of it, would come alive, dancing just beyond the reach of certainty. The witness mulled over old memories, and in each recollection was a kernel of mystery that beckoned with both promise and despair. Their mind roamed to a time when Julian Crestwood was not a symbol of opulence cloaked by mystery, but simply a man with ambitions and frailties, whose life was as susceptible to mistakes as anyone else's. However, the core of this narrative was not merely about the financial downfall or the societal collapse of one prominent family. Rather, it was a solemn meditation on the nature of truth itself, an understanding that truth was not always a singular, shining beacon. Too often, it was a dim light struggling against overpowering darkness, an illusion shaped by memory, prejudice, and circumstance. The witness had realized that every memory, no matter how vivid, carried within it the seeds of deception. It was as though the past was a vast, ever-shifting canvas upon which human beings painted their regrets and desires, never allowing the final details to emerge with absolute clarity. Deep in thought, the witness began piecing together clues that pointed to an even more sinister reality. They recalled confidential meetings hidden from the public eye, where nervous glances and whispered assurances were exchanged between those determined to bury the truth. In a subtle yet deliberate series of actions, powerful individuals had conspired to silence anyone who threatened to unearth the dark history of Julian Crestwood's disappearance. And as the witness retraced every step, every misremembered detail, they began to unravel an intricate design. A design that led not only to the ruined mansion and the broken legacy of the Crestwood family but to a shadow network of greed and intimidation that the town had unknowingly embraced. Close to midnight, when the town was enveloped by a silence that was almost tangible, the witness ventured into an abandoned part of the mansion. Every step on the creaking wooden floor became a metaphor for the journey into the hidden recesses of a life burdened with secrets. The isolation of that moment was punctuated by a lingering fear, a fear that the truth they sought could be a dangerous lie. It was in that silence that the witness remembered a final confrontation, an event that had served as both a revelation and a curse. In the dim light of a neglected attic, the revelation had come as a shock, a final twist that threatened to dismantle the carefully constructed narrative, piecing together a puzzle that many had hoped would remain forever unsolved. At that moment, the witness's mind was awash with conflicting emotions. There was the exhilaration of uncovering what many had tried so desperately to hide and the paralyzing terror of what such a discovery might provoke. The witness understood that justice, in its purest form, could be a double-edged sword, capable of both healing a shattered community and unleashing chaos upon it. Every clue now led inexorably to the realization that the layers of deception were far deeper than anyone had imagined, that the disappearance was merely the tip of an iceberg that threatened to drown the town in a deluge of revelations. The unraveling of this case had gradually transformed into a test of resilience, of confronting the uncomfortable truths that lay buried beneath decades of silence. It was an ordeal that required the witness to reconcile the past with the present, to grapple with memories that were as unreliable as they were haunting. Within the confines of dusty documents and fragmented recollections, there materialized a question that would ultimately define the narrative. Could the pursuit of justice ever be free from the specters of fear and manipulation? The witness, burdened by this unanswered inquiry, moved ever forward in their quest, each step leading them further into an intricately woven tapestry of betrayal, remorse, and a stark confrontation with reality. As the investigation progressed, the atmosphere in Aldersfield shifted imperceptibly. There was an undercurrent of unease, a latent acknowledgement among the townsfolk that the past could no longer be suppressed. Live performance art along the cobbled streets, quiet nods, Secret glances and ceremonious silence became the new language of resistance. The community, though fractured, found solace in the shared experience of confronting their haunted history. Every whispered conversation was a subtle act of defiance against those who had demanded silence. Every cautious step toward open acknowledgement an act of bravery in its own right. The story of the last known witness thus evolved beyond a single disappearance or the mystery of a broken family. It transformed into a broader narrative of human vulnerability and the struggle for truth. It was a reminder that in a world saturated with secrets, the truth could be elusive, a puzzle that defied neat categorization or simple explanations. The witness's own journey became a powerful symbol of that reckoning, the relentless pursuit of answers in a landscape overrun with shadows and half-truths, the courage required to navigate the labyrinth of memories and lies, and the ultimate realization that sometimes the price of truth is immeasurable. By the time the investigation reached its crescendo, the air in Aldersfield seemed charged with a tension that bordered on the palpable. Every creaking floorboard, every rustling leaf in the cool night air spoke of a past that had been meticulously hidden away, only to be resurrected by a singular act of defiance by one determined soul. This final chapter, the culmination of years of silent endurance, now teetered on the brink of a revelation that promised to expose the collusion, corruption, and complicity that had tainted not only the fate of Julian Crestwood but also the lives of countless others who had been forced to live under the weight of suppressed secrets. It was during these final moments, as the witness retraced the steps of a long-forgotten confrontation in a secluded corner of the mansion, that every doubt sharpened into a singular clarity. The mosaic of evidence fell slowly into place, a narrative of calculated choices, missed opportunities, and deliberate acts to keep the truth from shattering a delicate equilibrium. And it was in this space that the final, shocking twist emerged, a twist that would fundamentally alter not only the understanding of the case but also challenge the very notion of what can be trusted in the realm of memory and history. Under the pale glow of a neglected chandelier, the witness's internal resolve crystallized. What had once been seen as a dangerous lie now appeared as the only path that could lead to true redemption for a town long marred by despair. Every misstep, every moment of hesitation, had been a numbing prelude to a revelation that would leave an indelible mark on the souls of every individual connected to the legend of the missing millionaire. In that luminous final moment, the witness embraced the uncertainty that had seemed so insurmountable. A decisive act ready to challenge an entrenched system of secrecy and corruption. Their journey, filled with the fearful echoes of the past and the trembling hope of the future, became a story that was not just about uncovering a mystery but about confronting the cost of buried truth in a world that preferred comfortable lies. The narrative of the last known witness stands not only as a chronicle of a decades-old disappearance but also as a testament to the fragile human spirit. It is an enduring reminder that even in the face of impenetrable darkness, the quest for truth, no matter how treacherous, can eventually illuminate the hidden corners of our collective history. As each layer of deceit was peeled away, the witness demonstrated an unwavering resolve, inviting every skeptical eye and cautious heart to consider that the things we think we understand about our past are often merely reflections shaped by forces beyond our control. The story, replete with nuances of regret, hope, and inevitable tragedy, found its roots in the universal longing for justice, a clarity of purpose that cut through the murkiness of unremembered days. In the ultimate reckoning of memory and truth, the town of Aldersfield, long resigned to a quiet desolation, was finally given a chance to rediscover a voice. The echo of each step taken by the witness through the corridor of history reverberated outward, challenging not just a single narrative, but the very fabric of collective belief itself. In doing so, the witness brought not only a sense of retribution but also the bittersweet lesson that truth, however elusive, is a necessary part of healing. For in the aftermath of long-silenced secrets, every soul that had once trembled in the face of repression now found strength in the shared burden of remembrance. In closing, the chilling account of this mystery, once thought to belong to a closed chapter, unfolds as an enduring invitation to consider that the human heart, though scarred by betrayal and fear, possesses the resolute capacity to seek justice even in the bleakest of times. The narrative of the last known witness has emerged from obscurity to weave a tapestry of memory, loss, and redemption that challenges us all. As the final twist unravels the last vestiges of deception and exposes the delicate interplay between memory and truth, we are reminded that every story has many sides, every past a hidden depth, and every whisper from afar a call to embrace the courage needed to confront the darkness within and without. In this story of slow revelations working their way through the sinews of time, what remains indisputable is that while the mystery of Julian Crestwood's disappearance may have been obscured by layers of treachery and half-remembered recollections, the relentless pursuit of truth stands unyielding. Each step taken by the witness reveals that, despite attempts to bury the past, even the quietest voice can echo loudly enough to forever alter the landscape of memory and justice. Here, in the stillness of Aldersfield, where the shadows of the old mansion and the reminiscences of grief mingle with the promise of tomorrow, one truth shines forth, a truth redeemed by the courage to remember, to question, and ultimately, to know. Every moment of the journey, the hushed footsteps along neglected corridors, the solitary confrontations with the ghosts of memory, and the final, explosive unmasking of long-endured lies, paints a picture of humanity that is as raw as it is resilient. And so, as the story winds its way into the annals of time, the last known witness becomes not only a chronicle of one family's shattered legacy or a missing millionaire's mysterious fate, but a clarion call to the power of truth, even when it arrives at a heavy cost. Herein lies the profound lesson for those who dare to listen, that no secret is ever truly buried if one holds steadfast to the quest for understanding, and that every hidden narrative, no matter how dangerous or unreliable its contours, contributes to the intricate mosaic of life. Thus, in the quiet recesses of Aldersfield, where each rusted relic and whispered secret continues to murmur an invitation to explore the depths of memory and meaning, the story of the last known witness unfolds as a rich, cautionary tale. It is a narrative woven with threads of regret, courage, and an unwavering commitment to unearth even the most dangerous of truths, a testament to the indomitable human spirit, ever ready to confront the shadows of the past in order to secure a future illuminated by the light of discovery. Every forgotten alley, every cracked window, and every silent, lingering memory finds its place in this intricate tapestry, a tapestry that not only challenges the authoritative narratives of those in power but also champions the right of every soul to seek solace in a truth unburdened by fear. As the final pieces of this long-forgotten puzzle click into place, the echoes of Aldersfield's hidden history remind us that justice may be delayed, but it remains an ever-present promise for those who possess the courage to bear witness, to question, and to ultimately embrace the bittersweet journey toward resolution.